Good Monday morning of the 7th week in Ordinary Time. This is Friday morning, by the way. I just got done reading a bunch of student papers that said I'm goofy, but I want to get these done because I'm so afraid of getting behind and panicking. I have to tell you, 2 weeks, I'm the only one who panics 2 weeks in advance, okay? This is the truth. Not easy being me. Whatever. You can see I have my Alaska sweatshirt on. I know that a lot of my friends in Alaska watch these videos. I'm conscious of you, okay? Anyway, today's readings, honestly, they're potent, especially for our times. James is a wisdom literature. I don't know if this is the brother of John or which James this is. I mentioned that because I don't know. I read an exegesis of this thing, and a guy doing the work on it, an expert on it, he couldn't tell. However he is, this guy's sharp, and he's into the wisdom literature of the Greeks. This guy ain't no dummy, okay? He is a very smart guy, and he gives us a lesson. If this isn't relevant for our times, I give up. I'll read it to you. I'll tell you something. Pay a lot of attention to it. We're choosing right now in our Western culture, in our society. Europe chose 70 years ago, 80 years ago. He chose. You know what it came of, and I'll show it to you. Just be careful. What the wisdom that you choose, and you can tell. And James gives you the clues to it. Having read Plato and Aristotle, this guy knows he knows what he's talking about. See? Watch what he says. Beloved, who among you is wise and understanding? Not who's clever, smart, who can pull the strings. Who is wise? That's a very Greek idea. To be wise, it goes back to Plato, because actually earlier to the pre-Socratic Socrates, and before him. Now, Socrates is, obviously. Then the pre-Socratic, the ones who came before Socrates and Plato and Aristotle. The Greeks have always had this tremendous sense of the pursuit of wisdom, not just knowledge. They had that, but they were seeking wisdom, an all-embracive vision of what is true, good, and beautiful. What is it to be truly human and wise? That's why they gave us some of the greatest literature of Western civilization, comparable in some ways to the Bible. Yeah. I forgot who it was. I think it was Churchill said you couldn't, if you want to know if somebody is educated or not, ask them if they've read Plato's Republic. That's a mark. He's right. Stroke of genius. And here's what you have it. Watch it applied. Who among you is wise and understanding? Let him show his works by a good life. See, wisdom is active. And the wisdom literature says wisdom is more active than all active things. You don't think he knows that? He definitely knows that. See, it is active. Let him show his works by a good life in the humility that comes from wisdom. Wisdom doesn't make you arrogantly smart and puffy and powerful. It makes you humble before the beauty of what is real. See? You embrace the real. When you're wise, you embrace with humility and gratitude that which is good, true, and beautiful. That's wisdom. See? But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. Think of Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin. I always think Hitler's the quintessential tyrant, of our times, because he comes out of the West. He comes out of a Catholic tradition in the West, and he betrayed it. He betrayed the wisdom of the cross to the false wisdom of power. He followed Nietzsche instead of Christ, and he wreaked havoc in the world. In the end, he stuck a gun in his mouth. What does he say? Wisdom, this false wisdom of this kind does not come from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. It destroys, it cuts, and it destroys. For where jealousy, look at Hitler. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there's disorder, every foul practice. Think of American politics today. I don't want to go into it, but just think about it. A certain person of first concern. Think about it. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there is disorder and every foul practice. Think about it. But the wisdom from above is first of all pure, then peaceable, gentle, compliant, think of Christ, full of mercy and good works, Christ on the cross, the good works of healing the sick, full of mercy and good works. Did Hitler, was he full of good works? Was he full of mercy? He was a monstrosity. He had the tools to be a monster. Some are only monsters in their home. Beware of monstrosity. It's all around. Right. But the wisdom from above is first of all pure, then peaceable, gentle, compliant, full of mercy and good works, without inconstancy or insincerity. It's not phony. It's not inconsistent. It's wise and peaceable. It makes the peace. It doesn't make division. It doesn't fraction the social order. It doesn't pit in a Hobbesian way, one man against another, one person against another, one social class against another. It doesn't divide, it brings wholeness. Right? And the fruit of righteousness, the true wisdom, is sown in peace for those who cultivate peace. Peace, not power. Peace. Right? Peace. I think that is an incredibly important lesson for our times. We're choosing. The way I tell my students in class, we're choosing between Thomas Hobbes' war, everyone against everyone, the lust for self-survival and power, versus the virtues of Aristotle, and here the gospel. A gospel of humanity, friendship, and peace. We're choosing that in the social order today, in our politics. Europe chose it. It's called the Second World War. They chose it. That's why Europe is dead today. It massacred not only its people, but its heart and its spirit. It'll come back, maybe. Maybe. I hope so. I hope so. We got a choice. We have a chance to choose whether we will be servants of monstrosity, vanity and power, or friendship and love, a nation of love and friendship, or hostility and power. Think about it. Do we believe in the cross of Christ, or have we lost faith in the cross of Christ? Do we believe in power, or do we believe in friendship and love? The way I tell my students, do we believe in Hobbes or in Aristotle? Power or virtue? Take your pick. Do you choose power, or do you choose the cross of Christ? Do you believe or not? The great prayer in the gospel, the woman brings her child who's got, I guess, epilepsy or something. He's got an evil spirit in him. You bring it to Christ. And Christ, he said, our Lord asked her, how long has it been happening to him? And he replied, oh, it's a man. I'm sorry. It's a man. I'm sorry. I thought it was a woman. Since childhood, it has often thrown him into fire and into water to kill him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us, and help us. Jesus said to him, if you can, everything's possible to one who has faith. This is a great line. Think of our age. And the boy's father cried, I do believe. Help my unbelief. That could be the prayer of our times. I believe. As a person, as a nation, as a place, help our unbelief. Don't let us fall into unbelief. It's what the Nazis did in Germany. It's what Hitler did. He went from belief to unbelief. He went from Christ to monstrosity. Mussolini tried it, but he was too stupid. Stalin got away with it. He died in his bed. The ultimate tyrant. We want more of that? All three were bred in the Christian tradition and raised in it. Stalin was a seminarian in the Russian Orthodox Church. Became an atheist. He made himself messianic. Murdered 30 million people, at least. That's just an opening song. That's before he had his maximum power. Who knows after? Hitler is accountable for 80 million deaths. Honest to God. You get to choose. You choose to believe in Christ, or not. And if your faith is weak, pray for help our unbelief. I believe, help my unbelief. See? I believe, help my unbelief. You see? Help my unbelief. Help me to believe and to love and to live accordingly, virtuously and wisely, as a person, as a family, as a nation. Save us from our unbelief.